Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm meadsyreplays and welcome back to the channel. We have another Hold My Beer, and this time we have Carry On Oasis Palms. Who of you loves this Max? Max? Hello, Max. Who of you likes this map, the Oasis Palms? It's a pretty good map for all kind of tanks. It's good for tank destroyers, it's good for heavies, it's good for mediums, lights. It's pretty much a map that suits all. Now, the majority of the map is actually played on this right side of the map, where we have the Foch, the tier 9 Foch heading towards now, but very aggressive. He's actually playing very aggressive. The enemy have been already spotted on the left side. Now, this actually is perfect. I've been in this position. It's not really a position, really. It's where you flank around, and because the map is so open, if your team actually goes to the left side and opens up the enemy, if you're in, it doesn't even matter what tank. You could be in a TD, you could be in a medium tank, it doesn't matter. You're going to have side shots, and we're going to watch this game here in the tier 9 Foch just absolutely farm some damage, but he does a really good job. So there's a couple of teams, tanks that's come to the left side. There's a couple that's come to the right, but there's none of the enemy that have come to the right side, but they are capping A. The waffle there on his team has capped C, so he's now just going to wait. You be patient. This map is all about being patient. If you're patient enough, then you will get damage and you will get shots off, especially if you are in a TD with really good DPM. So he's just waiting here now. He got the motion. He's going to get a shot, hopefully, on the motion. Doesn't quite get the shot. He should have waited. But by the time the motion comes available, he does get tracked. And the reload on this thing is actually a pretty good tank. Pretty good reload. I used to love the tier 9 Foch. Absolutely love it. It used to be one of my favourite tanks in the game. Back when it was first released, but Wargaming have nerfed it since then, and I haven't really played it since then, but it still looks a pretty decent tank. So his team unfortunately haven't managed to hold off that left side, and you can just see they are getting ripped apart, and there's only 3 tanks left alive on his team, and those 3 tanks came to the right side. So he needs to get as much damage as he can. And it's not just about farming damage, it's about bringing the hit points down for the enemy team. That's what he needs to do. You'd already say that there's no chance, there's absolutely no chance of them winning this game. Now, for some reason, the enemy haven't caught base A. They have caught base B, but now there is tanks coming. And of course, the closer they get, the more chance he has to being spotted, which will be a shame, because he's actually farming some damage, 4.3k damage at the moment, and finally he has now been spotted after 4.4k damage. So he's just going to come back, he's going to back up over the dune, and that's what I love about this map. If you are spotted, there is loads of dunes, so you can just back up, and if you've got a turret, if you've got a strong turret, then you are going to bounce. You're going to bounce from your turret. So it's a good map for everything, and that's why I like it. It's not my favourite map, but it is up there with one of the best maps in the game, if you ask me. What's your opinion on the map? Do you like the map? Do you think it's a shit map? Do you want them to maybe, I don't know, make it more enclosed? Because there's a lot of open space, which is probably why a lot of people does like this map. There's so much open space, but you have your advantages and your disadvantages for such an open map. And the advantages, if of course, like this guy, he's been farming damage. The disadvantages is when the enemy farm damage and you have no idea where you're getting shot from. It's very annoying. But you can't hate the map just for that reason, because if you put yourself in that situation, it would happen to you too. You would be able to farm damage without getting spotted, and there's nothing better than farming as much damage as you can without even being spotted from the red team. So they've now managed to fork it back. They've now brought it down to a 3 versus 3. Of course, they are losing. Sorry, no, they're actually winning on supremacy points, and now he's going to head towards the T-44. I was actually hoping for for an ammo rack in the T-44 there. He's now a one-shot. The T-44 is a one-shot. Hopefully he can take him out, and he does just that to bring it now down to a 2 versus 2. There's a Motion here. Obviously, the Motion has a great gun, or it has a big gun. I wouldn't say a fantastic gun, it's a good gun. So he's going to have to bounce a shot there, and that's exactly what he does. Gets a nice shot into the bottom plate of the Motion to bring his damage up to 7,200. And that shot there, that is so unfortunate, that shot there onto the tracks of the Motion. So he misses out on a tiny bit of damage, or not a tiny bit, but enough damage. It now just leaves one tank left alive, which is the Tortoise. So he's on 2 kills. His teammate, or the Waffle, is on 3 kills. They are winning on supremacy points, and there we go, they have managed to win. So unfortunately there was a little bit of damage there that wasn't been able to take because of supremacy, but still 7,743 damage in a tier 9 Foch. Really good damage. So thank you, Raz, for sending me that replay in. I don't think it was even you. Daily Damage, thank you, Daily Damage, for giving me this replay. Next up we have the kranvagn, and again, because of all the dunes, this is a really good map for this tank. It has that speed boost as well, so if you wanted to, you can use that speed boost to get to the dunes very early on, and that's what our guy here is doing right now. He's hit that button. He is going as fast as he possibly can to get into position before the enemy can make their way. Now, it is a lot harder. That game we've just watched seemed a lot quite easy because the enemy all went to the city. Now, it is a lot harder when everyone pretty much comes this way. There is a couple of TDs at the back, and you have to be really careful of them. But majority of the games is usually around this area. Although I have been seeing it lately where people have been starting to go to the right side, and there's no really right or wrong. Each side of the map is actually a good side. Each side has dunes. Each side has all these hills, places to go, open space. So each side of the map, really, it doesn't really matter what side you go on, but if you go with your team, because if you go on your own, or if you don't go with your team, you could, as I keep saying, because of the open space, you could be spotted, and you could be getting shot from players that you can't see. And you can see here now, a lot of tanks are around this area. We're going to clear the Vickers has gone there now. The E50M has now gone. So it's now a 5 versus 7. So there's a Bajetto camping to the left side, and there is a couple of TDs, which at the moment is not spotted. Or what's spotted is that VK up there. And this is where you usually come out. And this side of the map, you usually, or even both sides of the maps, you've usually got a TD just camping in spawn. It's not even about camping in spawn. I do the same if I'm in a Death Star or a grill. Because of where you spawn, that is normally the best position for a TD. So it just means that you have to move forward a little bit, literally a tiny bit, and then get yourself into position. But what's not cool is when you get yourself into position and the enemy will go the other way. So playing from the dunes is, you should have a little bit of fun, but that's only if your team managed to open up the enemy team. If you've got no shots off, then of course this kind of position is useless, because you're not doing no damage, and it's just going to become stalemate with no one pushing. One whole team going to the left, one whole team going to the right. So now he's managed to get behind the IS-8 here, and he's just going to farm a little bit of damage. And the best thing about the kranvagn is obviously the auto reloader, so he can fire off the 3 shells if he wants. He can back up, load a couple of shells, and hopefully clear that IS-8. So at the moment he is on 3.3k damage. He's only going to load 1 shell there. Now if I was him, he's probably only going to load 1 shell here, with the hope that he's going to high roll or even just average roll this IS-8, and that will at least clear a tank, because that IS-8 at the moment is spotting for his TDs. So at the minute we have no idea where them tank destroyers are, so he's just going to back up. He's going to play it safe, and hopefully now he'll be able to clear it. No, he actually doesn't again, but the IS-8 is getting damage done to him, so he can just back up. I mean, there's no need for him to rush really, but he is going to reload again. He's going to reload the 1 shell, but doesn't need it as the super conqueror takes him out. So it's now a 3 versus 3, which gives him now the chance to reload all 3 shells. Is he going to reload all 3 shells? Is he going to wait? No, he doesn't wait. He should have waited. There was a split second there, and he may have been able to take the Object 268 out with if he would have reloaded the 3rd shell. The Jaegeru has now been spotted as well. We're not quite sure where the heavy tank is. Is he going to rush any of these? I probably wouldn't, because if you rush the Jaegeru, you're going to have the Object 268. That's going to have shots on you. And again, if you're going to rush the Object 268, you're going to have the Jaegeru. So at the minute, he's just buying his time. There's still 2.5 minutes left on the clock. There's still plenty of time. There's no need to rush just yet, until at least you know where the enemy are gone. At least you know where the heavy tank is, and if you know if the Object 268 is in the same position. So I personally would probably want to go for that Object 268. He's a 1 shot, but at the moment there is the only shot available is this Jaegeru, who of course was full hit points. Now he does fluff a few shots there, which could become vital towards the end. Of course, when it's a 3 versus 3 or a 2 versus 2, you need to hit as many shots as you possibly can without bouncing, because it comes in handy. It does make you suffer. If one bounce is all it takes for you to be able to lose the game. So you definitely need to be careful, especially when you are driving an auto reloader, as the DPM is absolutely poor. So the best way to drive this is to reload 3 shells. But if you've got shots off, I always say, if you've got shots off, then of course take that shot, because you just don't know if that shot will be there in a few seconds time. So he's now got the Jaegeru. He's hold down, and him and one of his teammate is actually doing damage to this guy, and they do manage to take out that Jaegeru. So he's now up to 6k damage, just above 6k damage. He's also blocked 2000 damage as well. So the turret on this tank is insane. I hate to come up against a kranvagn, especially when you're playing it against a player that actually knows how to play it. This tank is such a strong tank. Do I think it's overpowered? I don't think it's overpowered, but it's a very, very strong tank. So he's now found this guy here, the FV4005. Luckily, he's not doing too much damage, but he has put him on a 1 shot. So he's actually going to ignore the FV4005 4005 now and go for the Object 268, which is probably the right decision, because the FV is on a big reload. So it's now just 2 against 1. All he has to do is just go around this corner. He does get the shot off there, and now he just has to wait. What am I saying? FV4005, the Emil 2, sorry. So very good game. Very patient game. He manages to block when he needed to block, and he ended the game on 8,484. Well done, Vamilo. Thank you for sending me them replays in. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. I'm Meadsy, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.